In major cities across the country, a popular alternative to the traditional taxi cab is on the move. It's called Uber. Uber connects passengers to drivers through a smartphone app. It's typically cheaper and more convenient than a taxi, sending cars directly to the customer.
People have been really dissatisfied with the status quo, and then a company comes along and says, hey, there's this better way using mobile technology. And as long as it's easy, safe, reliable, and affordable, I think it's a giant improvement over the status quo, and people are saying, this is better than taxi. This is better than what I previously had.
Uber currently operates in 128 cities worldwide, and its current value stands at $17 billion. But as Uber grows, legal challenges are expanding with it.
The biggest problem is a lot of the regulations that are on the books have been written at a time when smartphones either didn't exist or certainly weren't ubiquitous in the same capacity. And so when a new technology comes along, that's when lawmakers and policymakers have to adapt.
Taxi cab companies argue it's Uber that needs to adapt. Robert Worth, president of the National Taxicab Association, says if Uber wants to operate in a specific state, it needs to follow the established law.
These laws have been on the books for decades. They're laws that all transportation companies must adhere to in order to be common carriers in the state of Virginia. There are other app companies that are operating within the state of Virginia today that are operating under the current rules and regulations. They are affiliated with taxicab fleets that are properly licensed, properly insured. Their drivers are have proper background checks. And the fact that Uber is not adhering to those rules and laws is simply an immoral business practice.
Still, despite court orders, injunctions, and even impounded cars, Uber continues to operate, supported by consumers happy for freedom of choice.
Why would you choose Uber over a taxi?
Because you can see where they are on your phone and you can predict when they will actually end up coming or showing up. So it's just better that way.
They'll have more of a conversation because I catch taxis a lot and you don't really talk with the guy who's driving.
It just works faster. You can just do it, you just phone and click on it really quickly and you've got a cab. And instead of standing out here trying to hail one down.
The power of public opinion is forcing regulators to look seriously at the law and taxicab companies to compete for customers. Taxicab companies say they're aware that technology is changing the game, and they're changing with it.
Apps are nothing new. Taxi companies all over the country have apps. Our app called Taxicab is basically the same format as what Uber and Lyft have.
I think that's the incredible benefit of a market ecosystem is you can have competition which raises the bar of quality, provides consumers choice, and provides drivers great economic opportunities.
Frank Azalina of Hampton Roads Transportation says it's not the competition bothering cab companies. They simply want companies like Uber to play by the rules.
We'd like a level playing field. Uber and companies like Uber, like Lyft, they have drivers, they pick up passengers, they charge passengers, and they pay their drivers. If that's not a taxi company, I don't know what is. What they're saying is that if you call with a traditional telephone to order a cab, then you need to be regulated. But if you're using an app to order a cab, then you don't have to be regulated.
Author and economist Kevin Freeman says all this anger is misdirected.
I can understand if I had a cab in New York City and I paid over $1 million for a taxi medallion and somebody was able to share a ride via an app, I'd be very upset too. But they're getting upset the wrong direction. They should be upset that they have to pay $1 million for a business license permission to drive a cab in New York. That's government being too intrusive in the economy. If they didn't have to pay the $1 million, I'm sure that they could compete very effectively.
In the end, it's likely that some laws will be adjusted, and Uber will work with the cities it operates in. But for now, the battle continues.
Technology and innovation is not the same as breaking the law.
We have no plans to slow down.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News, San Francisco, California.